Hey guys, this week's video is dedicated in memory of Masha Bas Bat. You've all heard of the hippie movement. A lot of you remember it, were part of it. I wasn't born yet, and a bunch of you listening and watching this weren't born yet. It started in the 60s during the Vietnam War, and there was a restlessness amongst the youth, the young people, who wanted to see a change. And they wanted to throw off the shackles of the establishment, became anti-establishment, in the sense of they wanting freedom and making change in the world. And this was a huge topic of conversation in the news, etc. Parents were struggling with this and concerned for their children. The government was concerned about this. And in 1968, kind of came to a head in Boston, where the hippie movement kind of gathered in a public park called the Common. And this led the city to putting in a curfew, which led to chaos and riots and violence, and it was a whole mess. The Shabbos before this curfew was implemented was this week's Torah portion, Parsha Shelach. And in Brooklyn, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, whose yahrzeit is this coming week, was having a farbrengen. And for hours he spoke about different topics in Judaism and the Torah and the Parsha. And then he addressed the hippie movement, and he totally flipped the script. Totally flipped it on its head. Whatever they were discussing in the media, he had a whole different take. And he said people are not realizing the potential that these youth have. Instead of trying to normalize and shackle them and realize what's going on here. These are young people who have a fire burning in them. They are passionate about making change, and they're not going to let anything stop them. If they had direction and it was harnessed, they could change over the whole world. It's not, the Rebbe said they're not rebellious. They want to see change, and they don't want anyone to stop them. That has to be harnessed. And the Rebbe connected it with this week's Torah portion, where we have the famous story of the spies. 12 spies go into the land of Israel. 10 of them come back with a whole negative report that discourages the Jewish people, and they don't want to enter the land, and God punishes them. It's a whole mess. 2 of the spies who came back, Kalev and Yehoshua and Joshua, they came back with a positive report. They were all 12 of them were together. How did 10 of them have such different reports than 2 of them? It's because the 10 of them were reporting what they saw superficially. They saw big people living there. They saw giant fruit. They viewed this all in a negative light, superficially. While Yehoshua and Kalev saw through the land. They saw, don't look at the giant fruit as a negative. See the potential that is there. Look what this land can sustain. It's such huge fruit, and the intensity and the beauty of it. Look through it. See the potential within someone. Don't just see the surface. And this was always the Rebbe's push. The power of the youth, of the young people who are still idealistic, who aren't jaded yet. And this wasn't an age thing. This is a mindset thing. You can be 80 years old and have the mindset of a child, have that still passion of an idealism of a young person. And you could be a young person and be already jaded and with life. It's a mindset where we have to harness that power when we see that idealism within the youth. This is children, this is teenagers, this is young adults. Instead of saying, oh, they're so naive, wait till life hits them in the face and they'll drop a lot of their idealism. No, you don't want them to drop idealism. You want to harness it, you want to give them direction so that they can impact the world and really change things for the better. This is the power of the youth. This is the power of the hippie. Shabbat Shalom. L'chaim to the child within us.